What's going on, guys? Dawkbro back again. Hope you're fantastic today, and welcome back to another Fazbear Frights story, review, and summary. Today, we're going to be talking about Sergio's Lucky Day. Hello, guys. Just quick interruption. My bad. I suck really bad. I have been saying through this whole story summary, I've been saying Sergio instead of Sergio. I am very sorry. Please don't be offended, any Sergios out there. It's a stupid mistake. I'm sorry. So yeah, anytime I say Sergio, I mean Sergio. And I really enjoyed this story again. If you remember last episode with Gumdrop Angel, I said a lot of people are saying this is the best book out of all of them. And so far, it's looking pretty likely because I really enjoyed Sergio's Lucky Day. It was different. It was not like the other stories. And I liked the ending. And it was, I don't know, I just enjoyed it. It was a little bit different compared to the other stories. You know how sometimes you read some of the stories and you're like, yeah, that's a little bit too similar to this one or that one. Sergio's Lucky Day is very unique. So, I enjoyed it. I have been super busy this week, guys. I've only just finished reading. It's Sunday today, right? I read this book this morning, and I'm doing a video on the same day. I was going to leave it a week later, but I don't know, man. Sometimes my mental health, I'm just like, I've got to get it done. I don't want to disappoint anybody. So, hopefully you appreciate today's video, because I have worked extra hard to get it done for today. This story has Balloon Boy in it. Not the Balloon Boy you think of. This little Balloon Boy figure. The one that I thought of was the Balloon Boy figure from FNAF 2. The one that you can unlock on the desk. That's the one I imagined in the story. So, yeah. It's an interesting one, guys. It is a bit weird. So, with this story, guys, it's about Sergio, obviously. And Sergio has a good job. And he's got good money. He's an architect, guys. He's an architect. He's very successful. And he works for a big company. And he's doing really well. He's only 27 and he's defied all of the odds in this company. He's the youngest worker there. He gets promoted to project manager as well. At his age, it's like defying all of the odds. So he's very successful at the moment. He's doing really well. The one thing I saw straight away is that Sergio wants to feel impressive all the time. He wants people to look at him and think, wow, that's impressive. Look at him, look at him, look at him. So, you know, all he cares about is what other people think of him and stuff like that. And he just wants to be the best that he can be. And when he gets promoted, guys, he doesn't really, he's not really too happy about it. He starts to question what he really wants in life. He keeps trying to achieve more and more and more. And every time he gets to the next step, he doesn't feel satisfied. I know a lot of people who are like this in real life, and it really reflects on people, including me. I am like Sergio. Not the ending. The ending gets a bit far. You know, out there. It is a Fazbear Fright book. But the moral of the story, guys, really means a lot to me. I'm not even kidding. Sergio wants to keep pushing and pushing himself, and every time he pushes himself, he's not satisfied with himself, and he feels sad. I got a house. I'm renting a house right now. And I'm here, and like, I don't feel satisfied yet. Oh, I passed my driving test. I got a car. Huh. Why don't I feel satisfied yet? I'll talk about it later on with the story, but I know a lot of people who are like that, who never feel satisfied with themselves. And they're not just like, hold on, let's take a step back and relax a little bit, you know. Of course, I'm grateful for everything, by the way, guys. I'm so grateful for you guys and everything. It's just satisfaction with myself, not you guys. You guys are amazing and the channel's amazing and everything. I'm so grateful. But, like, I'm not satisfied with me. And I really feel for Sergio in this. But he's obviously, in the story, Sergio's a little bit more meaner about it and selfish. We'll talk about that later on. And Sergio has a girlfriend called Violet, okay? And Sergio is not happy with her secretly, but he just goes along with it. So when Violet's like, oh, do you want to do this and this? Let's do this and this, da-da-da-da-da. He just agrees to it and just like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, this, yeah, that. Just so nothing bad happens, if that makes sense. The girl he really wanted, guys, who will come later on, is Sophia Manchester. And Sophia Manchester is a high school crush from 10 years ago. And he still thinks about her all the time. And that's like, and in those 10 years, like, anytime he sees a girl and stuff, he's like, oh, is she going to be like Sophia and stuff like that? So Sophia's always in the back of his mind. You know, everybody has a high school crush. And unfortunately, Violet wasn't like Sophia. Again, he's not satisfied with what he's got. He's not satisfied with his girlfriend. But he's still like pretending with person to person that his life is fine, okay? Deep down, he's not happy. But when his friends and stuff talk to him, he pretends that everything is fine, like his little bubble, if that makes sense, his life bubble. Everything's fine, everything's perfect. Why was it that whenever he climbed a little higher on the ladder, he felt like he still had too many rungs to go before he reached the top? The rungs are like the ladder bars. So every time he climbs the ladder, he still feels like he's got way more to climb up before he reaches the top. And that's because every time he climbs the ladder gets bigger. So it's just never ending with, you know, feeling unsatisfied. He calls his parents in the morning to get validation from his dad, because his dad is the owner of a huge company, okay? And Sergio wants to call the parents and say, hey, I've got promoted in this. So hopefully one day Sergio's dad will say, I'm so proud of you, look what you've done. But unfortunately, he doesn't. So the dad jokes and says, oh, are you a boss of a company yet? His dad doesn't mean any harm, he's just joking around. And of course he is proud of him. But still, Sergio doesn't feel satisfied where he is. He's got a huge promotion. This is really, really good. But he's still not satisfied with it. And he still thinks his dad's like not proud of him either. And again, I think a lot of people in life want to get validation from friends or family with their success, when deep down it's just all about you. You know, the only person you should validate is yourself, right? And look back and look at your achievements and look what you've done. However, this is when things do take a turn. So he does get a new promotion job, but it was difficult, okay? It was difficult. And that's when things start to go south for Sergio. So this job that he has, his promotion, it's really hard. So it's not a job for just one person. Like, you need like 10 people to do what Sergio is doing. He's so busy. And unfortunately, the pay rise wasn't insane either. So this big promotion, he was only getting a little bit extra money a month instead of loads for the work he's doing. The amount of work that he's been promoted to do now, it's not worth the money for what he's doing, okay? It would have been better to be back to his normal job with his normal pay. So 2 weeks later, guys, it's still going south for Sergio. He's still really busy with his work, but he's making mistakes and he's not doing good. So he's making mistakes because, you know, this is the first time he's been a manager at this company. And he's making mistakes, and you know, there's a learning curve to what he's doing, but he can't comprehend that. He doesn't want to make any mistakes, and he's stressing out about it. And he's doing more work with no satisfaction. So he's doing all this work, he's stressing out, he can't do it, and he's not getting satisfied for all the work that he's doing. He's so busy, guys, that he's eating takeaway, takeout, he's not exercising, his dissatisfaction is growing with more work hours. So he's working late nights and eating junk food and stuff, and the benefits are not showing. What makes this even worse is that Violet, his girlfriend, is turning into a nag, apparently, constantly asking him, oh, why are you working so late for? Why aren't you spending time with me? You know, so this is all getting inside Sergio's head and making him miserable. And Sergio says, rinse and repeat. This is happening every day. Go to work, stressed out, junk food, making mistakes, come back. Violet's nagging at me. Sleep, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Sergio's luck gets even worse. Really, really bad now. So when he leaves work, guys, on a rainy Tuesday, he gets absolutely drenched. The rain is awful. All of his work, all of his sheets of work get soaked, and he's hungry. Bad luck starts to begin. On his way home, his car randomly breaks down. His SUV breaks down. A 2-year-old car, it breaks down. How did it come to this after all of his hard work? It's so unbelievable. What is going on? Unfortunately, nobody's on the road. It's completely dead. So he has to go to the gas station, which is about a 10-minute walk away, to try and get somebody to come and help him out. So he has to get out in the rain and walk down to the gas station. On his way to the gas station, he trips over a garbage bag. Okay? And weirdly, guys, as soon as he trips over the garbage bag, the rain stops completely. Okay? Just like that. He trips over the garbage bag, the rain stops at the same time. And one of the street lights is glowing at the garbage bag. And it's showing something on the floor brightly coloured. Okay? Something on the floor brightly coloured. Who do you think it is, guys? Curious about the unique shape standing out among the ordinary refuse, Sergio took a step closer to it. It was a bright red propeller on top of a cap. Leaning over, Sergio discovered that the propeller cap was attached to the round head of a small, maybe 10-inch high, plastic figurine. The figurine was that of a small boy with reddish-brown hair, big blue eyes, an orange triangular nose, rosy cheeks, and a wide mouth full of pronounced white teeth. The figurine's round head was matched in shape and size with the trunk of its body, which resembled a colourful bowling ball with arms and legs. The figurine was wearing a short-sleeved, 2-button shirt that had vertical red and blue stripes, matching the pattern on the cap. The shirt was tucked into solid blue pants, and the pants cuffs ended at the top of a pair of plain brown shoes. The shoes were more rounded than foot-shaped, but they matched the boy's fingerless, stumpy hands. Both hands were occupied. The figurine's right hand held a large red and yellow striped balloon, and the figurine's right hand held a small sign that read, "I'm a lucky boy." "You are? Are you?" Sergio playfully asked the figurine. "Do you have any tips? I could use some luck."
"I'm a lucky boy,"
the figurine said in a high-pitched child's voice. Sergio widened his eyes and stared. This wasn't just a figurine, it was an electronic toy. Surprised the toy was still working despite sitting in the rain, he was intrigued enough to pick it up. Wet, cold, hard and slippery, the toy was light in weight, and though it looked old-fashioned, it was in great condition. No paint was scarred or faded. Sergio turned the toy this way and that, looking for a control switch. He couldn't see one. He checked for a speaker and saw none. He even scanned for a battery compartment, but found nada. Interesting. So was I'm a lucky boy, all the toy said. Just for fun, Sergio decided to talk to the toy. "You say you're a lucky boy, like your sign says. Good for you."
"Good for you,"
the toy said. "Oh, okay." The toy probably had some stock phrases to play, and it was programmed to repeat back what it heard. That is, recorded. Its inner workings were surprisingly well hidden. It didn't seem like a cheap toy. Sergio decided to test his theory about the recording. He said, "Testing, testing." The little toy didn't repeat the words. Instead, it said,
"It's lucky to be lucky."
Then it emitted a funny little ha 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 giggle. Sergio smiled. The giggle was infectious. Sergio looked around. He was still alone. He looked back at the toy and shrugged. "Do you have a name?" Sergio asked the toy.
"My name is Lucky Boy,"
the toy said. Sergio snorted. "I never would have guessed." So he takes Lucky Boy with him to the gas station, guys, for the car repair. The counter person says, "Do you want to get a lottery ticket for tomorrow's draw? It could help pay for your car repairs." And Sergio says, "No thanks." But then Lucky Boy says,
It's your lucky day.
and then Sergio goes, okay, fine. I'll take the ticket. Who knows what will happen. The next day, guys, he goes to work and he's so tired, but he gets the day off. Hooray. So he goes back home, has a nap, wakes up, and he checks his lottery ticket. What do you think happened? Okay, he won. He won the lottery because Lucky Boy told him it was his lucky day, so he got a ticket and he wins, okay? He wins $600,000, which is a lot of freaking money, okay? That's life-changing. So he's honestly really, really shocked, and he thinks everything's going to change now. He's got this big sum of money. What should he do next? You know, he's had such a rough time getting this promotion that anybody would dream for, right? He wins the lottery thanks to Balloon Boy, Lucky Boy, and, you know, here he goes. Here's the start of what's to come. So, he wants to get a new car, okay? Because his car's broke down. Now he has this big sum of money. He wants to get a car. Grinning, Sergio stood and went to get Lucky Boy. Carrying the toy back into the living room and feeling only a little silly, he asked Lucky Boy, should I repair my car or get a new one?
You deserve good things.
Lucky Boy sang out. You're right, I do. Sergio sat back and put Lucky Boy in his lap. What kind of car do I deserve?
You deserve to have your dreams come true.
Really? He has a flashback about his dad saying, you know, don't buy a flash car. It will get stolen. It's not worth the money. Just don't bother getting it. And Lucky Boy says,
You deserve Flash.
what should I buy? Sergio asked.
Buy a flashy sports car. The more expensive, the better.
Sergio fired off a finger gun at the little boy. I like how you think. He ignored the part of him that was a smidgen creeped out by the fact that he was having a conversation with a toy. Lucky Boy had given him better advice than he had ever gotten from anyone else. Who was he to care about where that advice came from? There you go, guys. Anybody would be creeped out, you know. You just think it's just a toy with normal commands, just little commands. But now, Sergio is having one-on-one conversations with Balloon Boy about advice, financial advice, right? You can imagine Balloon Boy in a suit and everything, like a financial advisor. But yeah, and asks Lucky Boy constantly what he should do next. Should I buy a car? What car shall I buy? What shall I do next? And that's what happens with the story, guys. Sergio keeps asking and relying on Lucky Boy for life advice. And he buys a new car. He buys a really expensive watch because Lucky Boy is like, yeah, you deserve it. Go and get the watch. Go and get this car. You know, just do it. So Sergio listens to him and does what he says. And Violet's at work and asks Sergio if he got her anything with the money, okay, with the lottery money. Because Sergio tells Violet about the lottery win. And Violet's like, did you get me anything? And Sergio's like, no. So Violet's not very happy about that. And the problem is, guys, is that, yes, he's won the lottery and everything, but he's still failing at work being a manager. You know, he's still got all this work to do. So it's very overwhelming for him at the moment. And so basically, he's got all of this money and work is still in the way and making him sad. That will be later on. You kind of guess what's going to happen. On the first day, guys, what do you think happens with his car? It gets stolen. Okay, so his dad was right. His car does get stolen. Okay. So that's already an indicator. That's the first warning that Sergio should have read. What I read straight away is that Lucky Boy's advice to get a car didn't pay off. So should he carry on listening to Lucky Boy's advice? You know, Lucky Boy said, get a flashy car. Even though Sergio knew at the back of his head that that's going to be a problem because, you know, it might get stolen. And he takes Lucky Boy's advice, it gets stolen. That's already an indicator that Lucky Boy is a bit suspicious, a bit sus. His luck does a complete 180 now. His car's just got stolen. But Lucky Boy advises him to get a new car, bigger and better, and to buy a new house as well. And what do you think Sergio does? He listens to everything Lucky Boy advises. So he gets a truck. He gets a massive truck. Sergio wants the truck to be really like cool looking. So he wants it to be lifted a little bit. The suspension's lifted or something like that. So it looks nicer. And the dealer says, you know, that's unsafe. It could tilt over. Foreshadowing something. While you're driving, it can tilt over really easily. If you do that, Sergio doesn't listen, okay? You can see, again, it's another meaning. He is not listening to anybody's advice apart from Lucky Boy's now at this point, and that is going to cause consequences later on. So, again, Sergio's still not satisfied with what he's got. He's, you know, guys, he's won the lottery and he's still not satisfied. He's still behind with his work. He never has time to look. He won't have time to look for a new house and invest into a new house. And Violet doesn't make him happy either. So Sergio breaks up with Violet on the phone. So that's done. I wonder why. Oh, it's because Lucky Boy tells Sergio to break up with his girlfriend, okay? And what about his job as well? He's not happy or satisfied with his job. What do you think Lucky Boy recommends him to do? He recommends Sergio to quit his job. Better things are on the horizon, Lucky Boy says. So Sergio quits his job to become an entrepreneur. He's going to invest in like a big house, going to use his architect skills to, you know, he's going to invest in an old property, an old location, and he's going to use his architect skills to renovate the house, renovate the building, you know, and make lots of money, which I think's pretty good. I think that's good. I think that's smart, actually. If that's what he wants to do, that's what he wants to do. That's not that bad. But his workmates and his boss says, you know, you're throwing your career away. Are you sure you want to do this? And Sergio says, yeah, I do. Now, this is where, to the point where I was like, okay, this is weird. There was a point in the story, guys, where Sergio says to his work friend, I have a lucky boy. And Sergio laughs, like giggles, and he laughs the same way Lucky Boy does, okay? So when I saw that, how Lucky Boy is really influencing what Sergio does every step of the way, and then when I saw that Sergio was even laughing like Lucky Boy, the balloon boy laugh, I was like, okay, Sergio is getting very obsessed with Lucky Boy now, right? He's listening to everything Lucky Boy tells him to do with not even thinking about it. Sergio takes Lucky Boy everywhere he goes. It's not just like on the side of his bed now or on the living room table. Sergio takes Lucky Boy everywhere, okay? Everywhere he goes. And Lucky Boy advises Sergio to get a new girlfriend, and he meets Claire, okay? So Claire is an estate agent, and they basically managed to find an old warehouse for Sergio to invest in and renovate and turn into apartments or whatever he wants to do, or like a massive house. And Sergio invites Claire out to dinner to celebrate. When Sergio goes on the date with Claire, he brings Lucky Boy with him, so you can see that Lucky Boy's going everywhere Sergio goes now. Sergio feels bad, you know. Lucky Boy has gave Sergio this whole new life, and he wants Lucky Boy to have the credit for that. So he takes Lucky Boy everywhere he goes now. Honestly, nothing bad has really happened in the story so far, and we're almost at the end. Nothing bad has really happened. It's just this little cute figurine advising. I know it's weird because it's not normal that a figurine's telling him what to do, but nothing bad has happened yet, apart from the car getting stolen, but that, you know, that just happened. Him investing in a property and stuff like that isn't gonna kill him or do anything bad. He's investing his money, so nothing bad's happening. And, you know, he wasn't happy with Violet. Lucky Boy advised him to break up with her, and he does, and he gets a new girlfriend, and it's looking good. Happy, 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 okay? So everything so far Lucky Boy has advised him to do, but, like, it's not caused, like, really huge consequences or anything yet. This point again where it's get obsessive, possessive with Lucky Boy. Sergio decides to tell Claire about Lucky Boy. And tells her the whole story of how he found Lucky Boy. How Lucky Boy told him to get a lottery ticket. He wins the lottery. Tells him to get a car. Tells him to do this. Gives him life advice. And he's getting successful. Because Sergio wants to give Lucky Boy all of the credit. Which some people don't do, actually. So props to Sergio to admitting that this little figurine toy has basically made him super successful to his new girlfriend. This is when I was like, oh, damn. Claire grabs the figurine and is like, oh, it's just a figurine. And she tugs on Lucky Boy's arm. And Sergio goes, no, don't touch him. So you can see, like, he's very possessive and obsessed with this toy now. A few weeks later, guys, okay, time skip. Sergio underestimated the costs of the house, okay, the warehouse. So he's running tight on money now, okay? He's losing funds. Sergio is literally relying on everything on Lucky Boy, okay? So when Sergio is running low on money, Sergio asks Lucky Boy, where can I get money? And Lucky Boy says,
rich people have lots of money.
Sergio wasn't sure what to make of that, but he figured Lucky Boy would make it clear soon enough. Lucky Boy always told him what to do. By now, Sergio was taking Lucky Boy wherever he went. Lucky Boy helped him all day long. He helped Sergio pick out materials, make design decisions, and manage his time. He even helped Sergio choose his food. Lucky Boy also advised him on other purchases, like all the electronics he was buying for the new place and all the casual clothes he was buying to replace his more formal work wardrobe. When Sergio worried about going through his money, Lucky Boy said,
you deserve the best.
You can see that Lucky Boy has now taken over Sergio's life, okay? This would be the turning point where Sergio would be like, oh, hold on, I need to take a step back here now. Like, my life's going all over the place. Unfortunately, he doesn't, because it's a Fazbear Frights story. And at this point, guys, he seems to be taking it out on Claire. He believes that Claire seems like she was changing because he was losing money. He was getting tighter with his money, which isn't true. It's just Sergio's mind thinking that. And again, he goes back and says the only girl that was right for him was Sophia. Okay, he's never going to be satisfied until he has Sophia. What does Lucky Boy say? Lucky Boy says, ask your dad for a loan because his dad's super rich. He owns a big company. Easy way to get money to carry on with the project that Sergio is working on to become an entrepreneur. And then break up with Claire. Sorted. Sergio and Claire go to a parent date. They visit the parents and stuff like that. Because, you know, boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever. So at the time, Sergio asks his dad for a loan. His dad agrees on conditions and stuff like that. Sergio is still not happy with Claire. I think Claire makes a remark saying, aren't these Brussels sprouts delicious? And for some reason, Sergio gets really angry about it, like Claire is trying to demean him, make him feel low, when that's not the case at all. Because apparently Sergio didn't like Brussels sprouts, so that means that Claire was being mean to him, which makes no sense. In the story, guys, it does say that Sergio finds it difficult to read people, and I think that's a clear indication that Sergio thinks that Claire is being mean to him when she's not. She's just joking around. But again, I do feel like Lucky Boy's influence is in his head and making him think things that aren't true, making him more agitated and, you know, losing his mind a little bit. And Claire even says that when they go back home and they're driving back, they have a big argument. Sergio and Claire have a big argument in the truck on the way home. And Sergio says what he feels, saying, "Oh, you've bought me new clothes to make me look different. You've bought me this and this to make me look better looking, for music taste and stuff like that. You picked on me for liking Brussels sprouts. You don't like my taste in vegetables." Sergio's losing the plot. Claire crossed her arms and glared at him. You're being ridiculous. Yeah, see? Now you think I'm ridiculous. Claire sighed. You've lost your mind. Riding in the console as always these days, Lucky Boy giggled. Claire picked up Lucky Boy and shook the toy in Sergio's direction. And you play with dolls. Sergio grabbed the Lucky Boy. Put him down! He turned to look at Claire, and the truck swerved. Claire held Lucky Boy away from Sergio. You've started treating it like a guru, and I was going along with it. But really, Sergio, it's a doll, a little statue. It's not your personal guide through life. If you think it is, you're a weirdo. Claire pressed the button to lower her window. You need to get rid of this thing. She raised her arm to toss Lucky Boy out of the truck. Sergio lunged for Lucky Boy, and as he did, he wrenched the wheel. They were heading into a curve, and the lifted truck couldn't handle the severe turn. It tipped right over, left the road, and headed down the rocky embankment. So there you go, guys. They have a crash. Because Sergio wanted to lift the truck up, the suspension or whatever, the risk was for it to turn over very easily, and it did, okay? So again, you can clearly see that Claire's right. Sergio has lost his mind. He's obsessed with this little doll. Obsessed with it, okay? So when Claire tries to get rid of it to help him, no, swerves the wheel, and they have a crash, okay? So this is where Sergio hits rock bottom, okay? He doesn't have a truck anymore. He doesn't have a girlfriend. And Claire files a lawsuit against him because of the accident. So now he's got no money. He's got literally no money anymore. And again, in his mind is Sophia. He wants Sophia as a girlfriend. And ironically, there's a high school reunion. A 10-year high school reunion. How lucky was that? Who do you think's going to the high school reunion? Sophia. So this is Sergio's chance to try and talk to Sophia for her to be his girlfriend. 2 weeks later, guys, another time skip. Things are looking good. He's got his truck back. His house was progressing, not as quickly as he wanted to, but it was still progressing. And it's coming close to the high school reunion, okay? And Sergio says that he wants to knock Sophia's socks off, okay? He doesn't just want to go there and, you know, talk to her. He wants to impress her, okay? He wants Sophia to think, oh my God, this Sergio guy is amazing. Absolutely amazing. What an impressive individual. So, again, this is the point, guys, where it takes a complete 180 turn, okay? Like, just like that. I'm going to read it to you. It's a complete 180, guys. Like, what should I do to get ready for the reunion? Sergio asked Lucky Boy after he polished off a burger one evening. I have the right clothes, but I think I should do more. I want to knock Sophia's socks off. I think I should go above and beyond. What do you think? Sergio was still living pretty much on his bed. The rest of his furniture was stacked up and covered with plastic to keep it free of the paint splatters and dust created by the renovations. He leaned back on his pillow and looked at his little buddy, who now had his own pillow next to Sergio on his bed.
Be the best to get the best,
Lucky Boy said. Well, Sergio was the best architect, and he was going to have the best business. But what about my looks? Sergio said. I know I'm smart, but smart never counted for much in high school. When I go to the reunion, everyone's going to look at me and see just a 10-year-older version of who I was then. I want to go back looking different, and I have to admit, I do have some flaws in my appearance. My ears, for instance. They're too big. What should I do about my ears?
You don't need them,
Lucky Boy said. What does that mean? I don't need my ears? Sergio was confused.
You're better off without them.
Do you really think so? Really? Sergio asked.
Get rid of what you don't need.
Sergio nodded. That makes sense. He thought about going to the reunion without his big dopey ears sticking out. That would be so great. But his ears weren't the only issue. I still won't look the way I want to, even without my big ears. I would really like to look perfect for the reunion.
You deserve perfection,
Lucky Boy said. Exactly. You're right. I do. Sergio leaned over to the box he used as a nightstand. He grabbed a pad of paper and a pen. Okay, Lucky Boy, you need to help me here. Let's figure out what I can do to be the best me for the reunion. Let's make a list so I know exactly what I need to do.
Make a plan for perfection.
Sergio grinned. That's just what I'm going to do. He tapped the paper with a pen. Okay, well, besides my ears, he said, I hate my hair. He scribbled on the paper.
Hair is overrated,
Lucky Boy said. Lucky Boy was right. Hair was a lot of work. Dale had a shaved head, his work friend, and women found him attractive. Sergio made a note, but then he frowned. He remembered Dale talking about how much work it was to maintain a perfectly shaved head. More work even than keeping hair nice. Shaving wasn't going to do it. His hair would grow back if he didn't go deep. He scratched out his previous note and wrote a new one. He thought for a few seconds. My ears are too small. I look like a bird. I have beady eyes. What can I do about my eyes?
Eyelids cover eyes.
Good point, Sergio said. He made another note. My nose is too long.
Cut to fit. That's the rule,
Lucky Boy said. Sergio nodded. Of course. When wood was too long, you trimmed off the end, he wrote on the pad. My lips are too thick, Sergio said. They look like a girl's lips.
Wood carvers are artists,
Lucky Boy said. Another good point, Sergio said. Why hadn't he thought of that? He was a master at reshaping wood. He was sure he could reshape anything. He scribbled another note. Then he said, I want to be taller.
Remove and reuse,
Lucky Boy said. Sergio smiled. Right. He often took scrap material from one part of a project and repurposed it for another part. He made a note. Then he wondered, what should I do about my belly?
Leaner is meaner,
Lucky Boy said.
Trim the fat.
Sergio nodded and wrote on his list. He smiled warmly at Lucky Boy. You're a great help. I'm so glad I found you. Lucky Boy giggled. Sergio sat and wrote for a bit longer, and then he stood. Okay, time to get to work. So that's a complete 180, guys. So Lucky Boy has been giving him advice on buying a house, getting a new girlfriend, getting a car, which is completely fine, I guess, in a FNAF story. It's not bad. But the story takes a complete 180 turn when Sergio's like, I don't know about my looks, you know. I don't know the way I look for this high school reunion. I really want to impress Sophia. I don't think my looks are going to help at all. And then Lucky Boy starts giving off advice saying, cut your nose off, chop your ears off, cut the fat out of your belly, reconstruct your face. It's going to be fine. So what do you think Sergio's going to do? Sergio's so obsessed with Lucky Boy now and listens to everything Lucky Boy says. So Sergio is going to reconstruct his face, okay? He believes, you know, he's a great craftsman, you know, he does architects, he's good with wood. He's going to reconstruct his face on his own with all of the tools. So he gets a saw, it's a hammer, he gets a drill to reconstruct his face, okay? So he goes to the reunion and he wants to arrive late to show everybody like, oh, he's arrived late, he's going to look really cool in his car and his success and his now reconstructed face that he's done himself. What do you think's going to happen? I think Sergio thought that he's going to reconstruct his face and look like handsome Squidward. But that's not the case. So this is the class of 85, okay? So this means that the story was set in 1995, okay? I always like having a timeline in this. So Sergio's lucky day took place in 1995. Just in case any of you guys wanted to know that. I like having stories with a time. Now, guys, let me read the ending to you. So he goes to the reunion with his reconstructed face. When the ballroom doors opened to let in the latest arrival, all eyes turned to see who was coming in now. In unison, all those eyes widened in horror. The music stopped playing with the screech of a discordant guitar chord and the reverberating clash of a cymbal. Talking ceased entirely. The entire room went completely silent. Then a woman screamed, and another, and another. One woman fainted. Someone threw up. Several people covered their mouths. Several more turned away. Some started running towards the back of the room. Not sure what was causing the upset, Sergio looked behind him to see if something terrible was coming. He saw nothing. A man and a woman were at the far end of the hall, but they were headed the other way. A waiter was coming out of another ballroom, but he too was going in the other direction. No one was behind Sergio. As Sergio started to turn back towards his classmates, his gaze landed on the floor. He frowned. The floor was disgusting. What had happened in this hallway? Sergio hadn't noticed the floor when he walked in, probably because he was so eager to make his captivating appearance, but now he stared at it. The gold carpet behind him was stained with a thick trail of blood. No, not just blood. White bits of flesh nestled in the blood. He also saw what looked like bone bits, clumps of hair, and blobs of what appeared to be pink, spongy tissue dropped at intervals along the center of the hallway. The blobs gleamed in the glow from the overhead chandeliers and seemed to wiggle as he looked at them. It was nauseating. Sergio was appalled. He thought this was supposed to be a classy hotel. Someone should do something about the mess, but if he went to get a hotel employee now, he would mess up his timing. His classmates were waiting for him. Sergio looked back down the hall to where he had left Lucky Boy sitting on a chair so he could watch Sergio's triumph. Lucky Boy would agree that Sergio deserved to have the best cleaners take care of this mess. Lucky Boy giggled. Sergio looked down at his feet and noticed even more gruesome waste staining the carpet next to his brand new shoes. Oh, for heaven's sake! Some of the gore had even gotten on the black leather. He leaned over and wiped off what looked like to be some rubbery gristle. He shook his head. He would deal with the hotel's janitor shortcomings later. He turned back to his fellow classmates. Now, he said to himself, where is Sophia? End. I thought that last part was pretty funny, okay? So Sergio walks into this reunion. Everybody's screaming at him. And he looks back. Huh, what's everybody screaming at? And then he starts walking down to his classmates. And he looks back and looks on the floor and sees all of this blood and bone pieces and brain matter on the floor. And he's like, oh my God, look at the mess everywhere. You know, I'll talk to the hotel manager later on. Look at all this mess. Oh, I've got blood on my shoes now. What's the meaning of this? Who's the cause of this? When he doesn't realize, he's gone insane, guys. He's gone mentally insane. Obviously, all that blood and all the brain matter and bone pieces is from Sergio himself. He's reconstructed his face, and it's not like handsome Squidward. It's basically a mutilated face, and he goes in thinking he's going to impress Sophia, and it's the complete opposite. He's completely mutilated his face. He's chopped his ears off. He's chopped his nose off, and he's going into this reunion looking like that. But he doesn't realise it. He thinks he's going to, you know, really impress Sophia. And Lucky Boy's in the background giggling at him. He's completely lost the plot and he doesn't realise it, and it ends that way. So what I think's happened is that Lucky Boy has basically blinded him now to the point where he just listens to what Lucky Boy says. So he's mutilated his face, and Lucky Boy has said, you know, you look great, when he doesn't, and he's going in. So a complete 180 by Lucky Boy, giving him life advice, investing in property, buying a car. And then as soon as Sergio starts talking about his looks and stuff, Lucky Boy says, chop your face off. And Sergio listens to it because he's so obsessed with Lucky Boy's advice that he listens to everything he says. And he basically completely ruins his life at that point, okay? We don't know what happens next, whether Sergio survives that, but with all that blood and brain matter and stuff like that, I'm guessing that Sergio probably died. I don't know. It's never said. But yeah, Lucky Boy, man. What an interesting and weird and strange story, which I think fits perfectly with a Fazbear Frights story. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, Sergio was never satisfied with his life. That when Lucky Boy came into play, you know, he got extremely obsessed with getting more and more and changing things and relying on Lucky Boy because he's lucky. You know, at first, Lucky Boy gets Sergio to win the lottery, but he's still not satisfied. So he asks Lucky Boy this and 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 this. And then it eventually causes consequences. And Sergio's so obsessed with Lucky Boy now that he just listens to everything he says. The problem with Sergio is that he didn't stop, okay? That's not his fault, though, okay? That's Lucky Boy. You know, it is a Fazbear Frights story. It was always going to be a bad ending, okay? There was always going to be a 180 and something bad was going to happen to Sergio. Because he didn't stop. He didn't take a step back. He won the lottery. He bought a car. He bought this. He wanted more. He bought a property. He quit his job. He dumped his girlfriend. He dumped his other girlfriend. He kept wanting more and more and more. He wanted his high school crush, Sophia. And he wanted more than just going as a normal person and his job and his success. He wanted more. He wanted to change his appearance. So he chopped his face off to reconstruct his face because he wasn't satisfied with himself. And that led to what happened to Sergio. Lots of love. Thanks for watching, guys. The next story is called What We Found, and apparently it's about Springtrap, okay? So it's really, really interesting, apparently. And it's the longest story out of them all, so it might take a while to read. Lots of love. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.